In a world filled with chaos and confusion, it is so easy for us to become a product of the things that we see, the things that we're surrounded by. But on today's segment, we will begin to unpack what it means to be our authentic selves and to manage ourselves. We'll talk about the importance of it, the many skills that you will need in order to do so. And of course, I am going to leave you with some tangible ways that you can begin to start managing yourself today. Stay tuned. Thank you and welcome to Stepping Into Me, the podcast. I am yours truly, Latoya Dameron. You know, on this podcast, we unpack many topics. We unpack discussions and subjects that are intended to be thought-provoking. They're intended to be eye-opening and inspiring. The goal is for you to engage in conversations that encourage you, to teach you so you can embrace who you are, your purpose in life, and leave with tangible ways to apply the content that you learn right here on this podcast. We're going to go ahead and get started, but before we do, let me tell you a little bit about me. I'm a professional school counselor with the Chicago Public Schools. In addition to that, I am a therapist. I'm the owner of Impact Social Services, in which we deliver teenage programs or workshops for teens. It's a 501c3 right here in Chicago, Illinois. In addition, I am a published author, and most importantly, I believe in connection and cultivation. So let's go ahead and get started. In this world, our inner thoughts, our beliefs, our mindsets, our actions and behaviors, they often create these patterns for us. And it's challenging at times to break out of those patterns. As a professional counselor, I believe in positively impacting the lives of all of those in my sphere of influence. I have spent a decade in reflecting and teaching and motivating children and adults to overcome things like depression, grief, anxiety, with the hope that they can become authentic and positive contributors to their society. My therapeutic approach is person-centered, and I focus on the person and not necessarily what they can do and not the hindrances that may be in their way or adversity that they face. They can be who they are and focus on their strengths, their weaknesses, and the things that they aspire to become. I tailor my approach to their unique circumstances. Be reminded that you have the power. Schedule a session today. You can reach me at latoya.gracefulgrowth, or you can simply follow me or send me an email, Dameron Enterprises. So today we're going to be talking about self-management. What is self-management? Self-management is taking responsibility for your own behavior and your own well-being. Self-management is your ability to manage your behaviors, your ability to manage your thoughts and your emotions. It is a conscious and productive way that you actually focus on those things. Someone with strong self-management skills, they know what to do and how to act in whatever the situation may entail. So let's go deeper. Let's talk about the origination of self-management. The individual family self-management theory was developed by Dr. Polly Ryan and her colleague, Dr. Kathleen Swain. And Dr. Ryan's work in that theory of behavior change suggests that there are three different dimensions to this concept. That as individuals, in order for us to manage ourselves, we have to look at the context. We have to look at the process and the outcome. The point of self-management is for us to avoid those feelings of being overwhelmed, whether you are a manager, whether you are a mom, whether you're a teacher, an employee, an employer, or someone simply transitioning into management overall. A person whose life is balanced, they tend to have a clear head. They're better able to make decisions, better able to cope with stress. And how important is that, especially right now with the high levels of anxiety, the rise in depression? So why is this important? Why is it so important for us to manage ourselves? Well, simply, if you cannot manage your thoughts, if you cannot manage your behaviors or your emotions, you'll never be able to focus on whatever it is that you are supposed to accomplish in life, your goals. Your success in your profession and your personal matters, it is directly related to how you can master your own emotions and behaviors. So, let's talk about how management, which is used interchangeably with self-control. So how many of you guys have gotten those report cards when you were little and you had that check under self-control because you could not manage or control yourself? Well, they are used interchangeably. Now as adults, we call it managing ourselves. When we were younger, we talked about having a sense of self-control. Well, there are 3 different types of self-control. We have what's called impulse control, which is the difficulty some people have in stopping themselves from engaging in certain behaviors. Those common examples, or some common examples, could be gambling. For me, sometimes it could be shopping. For some, it's some things like stealing or aggressive behavior towards other people. Another type of self-control is managing our emotions and behavior to control the positive and negative emotions, and thus expressing these in an appropriate way. However, in order for us to improve emotional control, it is so vital for us to develop or enhance our emotional intelligence. Having this sense of high-level emotional intelligence, what it does is it allows you to empathize with others, putting yourself in someone else's shoes, communicating effectively with the others that you're around, for both you, yourself, and for you to be socially aware of the situations that you may be putting yourselves into. And then lastly, we have movement control. So that's being able to build out a schedule, controlling your life, coordinating things, routing things, and making sure that you're planning appropriately. So these 3 types of self-control, they're necessary. Which category do you fall in? Is that impulse control? Is it emotional control or movement control? Which one is your strength? So let's talk about the first step. We're going to go through 6 self-management skills that you can begin to develop today in order for you to take control over your thoughts, your behaviors, and manage yourself appropriately so you can win. The first one is goal setting. We'll go into detail about what that actually looks like. How do you keep yourself motivated in all of that? Are you holding yourself accountable for the things that you say you're going to do and the things that you're responsible for? Are you prioritizing your responsibility? Do you have deadlines set? Do you practice patience? Now that is something that we all probably need to work on, right? Are you evaluating and celebrating yourself in the process? And are you planning for the next day before you go to bed? Let's jump into it. The first one is goal setting. Goal setting, this is an integral part of self-management. Being able to identify your goals and make a conscious effort towards working towards them, it has 5 different benefits that go right into that. One, when you set goals, it allows you to evaluate your life. So that part of goal setting is called assessment. Then we have direction. So clarifying your goals. What that does is it enables you to set a direction for your future. Focus. When you set priorities, you can focus your attention on the things that align with your goal. Make sure that you have inspiration, and make sure that when you do all of those, you will be happy. You will be able to accomplish that goal. So start by goal setting. The next one in this will be this sense of motivating yourself. I like to call it self-motivation. Right now, it is trending for us to affirm ourselves through processes that keep us motivated. Maybe it's a song that motivates you, but whatever it is, this sense of self-motivation is this force that keeps us pushing, or it keeps us going forth. It is our internal drive to achieve. It is something that happens internally that causes us to produce when we're motivated. It allows us to develop and to keep moving forward. So when you think that you're ready to quit something, that internal piece in you, it will flick on and will push you to achieve, push you to produce, push you to develop. The one way that you can get started is think about what motivates you. What are you motivated to do? In all of that, we have to learn a sense of being accountable for the things that we say, being accountable for the things that we do. Accountability simply means that you are showing up and setting out to accomplish the things that you said that you would do. It's all about taking personal responsibility for your work, taking that sense of personal responsibility over your life. And by ensuring accountability in yourself and setting the example for others to do the same, well, guess what? You are more likely to be trusted by others and respected by other people. So let's talk about prioritizing your responsibilities. What is most important to you? You have to be able to identify what is important to you and in what order. So I love, if you know me, you know I love a good to-do list. Every single day I am writing down all of my tasks, whether it's big, small, immediate, long-term, short-term, whatever the case may be, write down all of your tasks. I love to write sometimes when I don't feel like I've accomplished a lot of things. I make out a small to-do list that entails things like, hey, did you read your motivating sentence or watch your 2-minute video? Did you make your coffee this morning or did you go out and buy some? Whatever the case may be, I put those small things on my list, small tasks, cross them out because they make me feel accomplished. Determine which tasks are truly important and the things that can actually wait, or order them. I like to put them in like order of operations, for lack of better words. Make sure that you're sticking to a schedule that reflects your priority task. So if it is something that is put on your schedule that is not a part of your task, figure out how can you fit it in there and if it's actually important or is it something that can wait. Tackle the things that seem to be most intense. Put those high effort tasks first and make sure that you are focusing on one task at a time. We love to say that multitasking is a good thing. I disagree. With the high levels of anxiety and all this rush through everything, you cannot give everything the attention that it deserves. You need to focus on one thing and then move to the next. Because if you do not, that creates high levels of anxiety. So let's talk about creating these deadlines. Now, some of your goals and some of the things that you may want to accomplish, the deadlines may not be immediate, but you have to stick to realistic deadlines, set a realistic deadline, and make sure that you avoid making promises that you can't keep. I'm not talking about promises to other people. I'm talking about promises to yourself. Because if you set a goal and it's unrealistic or not attainable in that moment, you can become discouraged and then it will take a turn on your self-esteem. When all of your tasks have clear deadlines attached to them, it is typically easier for us to determine what activities we have time for and the ones that we don't. The ones that are gonna actually help us to accomplish the goal or the fluff that's a part of our lives. I love this one. One of the ways that you manage yourself, and it will probably go at the top of the list, is practicing patience. Patience is your ability to wait without becoming annoyed, without becoming discouraged, without becoming upset, without becoming angry. It's when you exercise this control over yourself rather than lashing out, complaining, saying that somebody else made you do something, because no one can make you do anything. You're being patient when you're able to take a step back when things are not going your way. Take a deep breath. Search for that inner peace. Hit that reset button. And after all the things, after you have gotten through that, figure out how you can move forward after that. It is inevitable all things will not work out for us. So practicing patience is all about how you act when they don't. Patience transforms relationships. Patience, it transforms your life. So there are going to be times that you can't help but to be irritated, to become defensive, especially when people are saying hurtful things towards you or someone is behaving in a way that you just simply cannot understand. In those moments, slow down, take those breaths, find your inner peace, figure out what your purpose is in that process. Make sure that you slow down, because what it does is it prevents these hasty and selfish decisions. Patience, it helps in developing the crucial relationship skill of being empathetic. And patience also connects with compassion. It's the ability to understand life from the perspective of someone else. So we have to make sure that we're developing the skill of patience. You know, you gotta celebrate yourself along the way. So we've talked about setting goals. We talked about prioritizing things. We talked about practicing patience. But are you evaluating the goals or the tasks that you have put up? The purpose of evaluation is so you can highlight the things that are going well, highlighting those strengths, correct things that may have come up, correct the performance weaknesses that you may have encountered, and develop unused skills and abilities. I love to show this video to my teens about strengths and weaknesses and knowing when to assert your hard skills and when your soft skills need to step up. So those things like empathy and compassion versus the ability to publicly speak or being a mathematician. You have to know what setting or when you need to use those things. So when you evaluate your progress, this is the moment in which you do that. So the monitoring and evaluation, what it does is it provides you insight into impact of whatever it is that you are trying to accomplish. It helps to see if your goals are actually being accomplished, and helps you to identify what needs improvement or tweaking, or maybe you need a thought partner. The last one in our six steps towards managing yourself is planning for the very next day. So I love to do this. So I have my journal, I have my books, I have my moments that I sit still at night and I reflect on the things that went well, the things that could have gone better. This is a great way when you plan for the next day the night before. This is a great way for you to stay focused on whatever it is that your goals or whatever goals you set for yourself. And it helps you to get things done. That means that your mind isn't idle throughout the day and you're searching for things to accomplish. When you plan, it gives you a sense of control over your life and over your future, which means that you will be more productive. So let's go over it. Steps to managing yourself. Embrace your strengths. Adapt to challenges and adversity. It's inevitable. Make sure that you're nurturing those relationships that you have with other people, because sometimes when you can't motivate yourself, they will help to catapult you. Make sure that you are setting goals. When you do not set goals for your life, you're wandering aimlessly through the world, allowing the things that you see and the things that you hear, the things that you are around to determine what your future looks like. Understand your emotions. How do you feel about that? What upset you? Be patient with yourself, be patient with others, and make sure that you are prioritizing your well-being. You know, I love talking about character. I talk about how I developed this sense of what we call pride, peace, respect, integrity, determination, and excellence. I believe that when we show up in this world, our character goes before us. If you face adversity and you find positive ways to figure this thing out, then guess what? You are bringing your spice to the world. So let's sharpen our character traits. You know, I love my being patient, being resilient. I know that I'm impactful. I'm dedicated to the things that I sign up for. And more importantly, I am evolving. Every day is a new day. There are experiences. If I wake up, there's something that I have to get out of that day. And I experience that and I figure out how to make my next day better. You need help with that? Guess what? I'm your counselor. I can be your therapist. Again, follow me on social media platforms, Dameron Enterprises. If you are looking for a therapist and you are in Illinois, you can reach out to me on latoya.gracefulgrowthcounseling.com. So latoya.gracefulgrowthcounseling.com. Make sure that you are doing that, taking control over your future. Remember, you have the power. Take your power back. Till next time.